are you all doing? It is Regina along with Not So Perfect Parenting, and I want to get on here because every day I'm going live every single day until the end of the year. And of course, I may go ahead and keep this going because we have some decent engagement on this channel, and I am geeked, and I'm hoping that I can start some Bible studies and some parenting tips and classes. That way, you guys will have a consistent schedule, and maybe I can get on here like every Tuesday or Wednesday or every month or something like that, and we can have some type of flow because it seems like you guys are kind of tuning in, and it makes me proud, makes me happy. But anyway, I'm going to get on here because I want to talk about a few things that were a little interesting. So everybody come on in, come on, y'all come in waves, and it's pretty exciting. So I was watching an interview of a young lady that I really hadn't even heard before. Her name is Clarissa Shields, maybe. Young boxer, very young, beautiful lady. I don't technically follow her, but I am starting to follow her now because I really like the interview that she done. It came across my timeline. I've heard bits and pieces about her, not a lot, but the things that I saw before, people were trying to not paint her in a good light. And I'm like, well, this is a young girl who's seemed like she's doing fabulous. Like, what's the deal? What's wrong with her? And when I looked, I couldn't find any. I'm like, I don't see anything wrong except for the girl can fight. Like, and if you talk smack, you might get smacked. So I wasn't really exactly sure what the problem was with her, and I still don't. And I'm the kind of person that if you tell me there's something wrong with somebody, I need to know it for myself. Now, certain people's words hold weight. So I will be kind of cautious, and I may have my antennas up just a little bit, but just because you tell me somebody is not legit, I gotta usually find out for myself unless I can really really trust you. I trust the discernment that you have and the God in you and all that, and then I'd be like, okay, I might be kind of cool on this person. But the Clarice Shields girl, I watched her interview. That she just did a recent interview, and it was wonderful. But I'm getting on here to talk about some things that she talked about because I think as parents, hey, how are you? Thank you so much for joining. I think as parents and guardians and caregivers, we have to have some of these conversations. She talked about being essayed at 5 years old. Five, five. And so many of us in our lives have been violated at those very young and precious ages. And a lot of times you're like, what in the world? Five? Like, that's insane. Another lady that I like to follow. She's a real estate developer, one of the youngest in Louisiana. Her name is Terica Lynn Smith. You have to absolutely go. Um, you have to go and listen to her story. She was sold to her mother's drug dealer at 5 years old, and her mother even pressed the door closed while she was being violated. Insane. So, as parents, I feel like we have to have some type of discernment. We have to have some type of boundaries like around our children and the people that they go around. And a lot of times as single moms, we want this love. The father isn't there, so now we want our kids to have stepdads and all this other stuff. But you have to watch, and not just women now, the men have to watch the women, because these women is out here wilding every single day. On my timeline in YouTube, there is some young teacher, and she's beautiful and has like little babies and has a husband that ain't bad looking. They're on this here YouTube, arrested and about to go to trial because they have messed with someone's child. This is insane. I'm The teachers that we had back in the day look like mud. Sorry, teachers, but they wasn't cute. There was one. There might have been a couple that I'm like, okay, our women teachers weren't like super hot. they were kind of like grandma looking, but these teachers now look like Victoria's Secret models. Like, what the heck? And they are sleeping with these kids, and it's just crazy. So we as parents, we have to watch who we have around our kids. If you haven't checked out that interview, I think her name is Clarissa Shields. She's a boxer, and it was just phenomenal. Some of the things that she was saying. Her mother, I believe, had an addiction, so that also was a point. She said that she would try to help. She wasn't even the oldest sibling. I think she was like the second youngest. And she would try to help her siblings, and she would feed them. And sometimes she would go without food. It was, I want to say it was three of them or maybe four. But I think in this scenario, she said the three of them would break up those ramen noodles and split them to try to eat. And if there wasn't enough to eat, she would go without eating. I mean, her interview was just, it was astonishing. The good thing is, well, this is not a good thing, but it turned out to be a good thing. The young lady left home at 13 years old. 13. She went to go live with her boxer manager or something. But she also was able to live with her grandmother. And she said that her grandmother was a no nonsense grandmother, but she did very well. She taught the girl how to clean. She taught her how to cook. She taught her how to be a lady. I mean, she taught her granddaughter the things that her mom at the time could not. And what I really liked about Clarissa was she didn't throw shade at her mother. She didn't. She said, my mom is a good person, but she was struggling at the time. For me, that showed me that young lady's heart, because everybody be trashing their parents. I mean, even if they had a good life, I hear people like, man, my parents is trash. My parents didn't do this and that. Oh my goodness. But to hear her, the life that she had to live, and the struggles that this young lady had. She's like, we grew up poor, my hair wasn't done. And to still see that people still talk about this woman to this day. I mean, she's making millions of dollars. She's supposed to be fighting in January for $8 million. And she's like, I'm not getting in the ring with makeup and eyelashes and my hair all done up. And y'all talking about me. While y'all talking, she making millions of dollars off of one fight. And then we don't know always what somebody has went through as a child. So I could understand a lot of things. People were saying stuff in her comments, like before when I was researching her, before I seen this interview, and they would talk about like her hair, they'll talk about her clothes. And she said she grew up like that. People talked about her. This young lady did not talk. I think she said she didn't really start talking until she was like 9 years old. So people thought she was slow. And then they thought she was deaf. They were teaching her sign language and all of that. So, and she stuttered when she started talking because she talked very fast and her mind would go fast. But turns out this girl is a smart young lady. But the kids used to crack on her. They used to talk about her because she sounded like she had a disability. She wouldn't talk. She, when she started talking, she would stutter. So people just, I mean, they had it out for this young lady. So I wanted to get on here and just kind of tell parents, be patient with your kids and be vigilant. Sometimes we're out here trying to look for a man and a woman so much. You so lonely, and they gotta have a daddy. Well, you know what? Maybe you made a mistake this time, and maybe it's time for you to focus and take care of them kids until God send you somebody, or He just might not. You may have to take care of them kids until they grown, and then they get out, and then you find you somebody, because we're living in a day, and this is back in the day. We have been living in a day that people are not always there for your children. They there for you in them legs, and for men, they there for you in that three-piece set, and that's all they want. And they ain't thinking about your kids. They could care less about your kids. And we can't just let anybody around our kids. It's time out for that. Heck, we can't even let the daggone dumb teachers be around the kids at this point. So we definitely can't just let some man who just, or some woman who just wants to lay up with you, be around these kids. These kids are being affected so much. I get if they don't have a dad, it's hard. I get if they don't have a mom, it's hard. But sometimes you may have to do it by yourself and not settle for somebody who's going to come in and abuse you and use you and abuse and use your children and eat up all your food and stuff. Sitting at home, they ain't got no job, they playing the video game. No, So, all right, parents, I wanted to get on here and just kind of talk because I seen that interview. If you haven't seen it, please catch it. She had a great interview. It gave you a lot of insight on how she is, why she is the way she is. She turned fighting, fighting was like her pain point. She just wanted to beat everybody up, and now this woman is making millions of dollars because she liked to fight. Instead of her going to jail for beating somebody up, she'd have made it into a living. What a wonderful purpose. She was smart, very smart. So, all right. And then if your kids can fight, parents, go ahead and get them in some boxing classes and stuff so they can start making that money too. Turn their pain into a purpose because that's exactly what she did. All right, y'all. I just wanted to get on here. I want to encourage you all. But I see you. I love you. I appreciate you all. I'm encouraging myself as I encourage you all. I will be back on here tomorrow for another live and every single day till the end of the year. I am Regina Long with Not So Perfect Parenting.